What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Fortnight on the Isle, this time for the last one of October, and I think there's, only like 4 more of these after today that I'm going to be doing for 2023, which is absolutely absurd. The fact that I started doing this early this year, and it's already been nearly a year of doing it is kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. It's also been a pretty busy year, all things considered. This fortnight did, however, feel considerably shorter than the last one did. I mentioned last time that it felt like, each week was like a full fortnight, and I was panicking about getting a video recorded when I didn't need to. This time around, the full 2 weeks has gone by, and I feel like it should still be another week before I need to make one, but that's just the way things go sometimes. I did have a great birthday over the last fortnight, thanks to all the friends who gave me wishes and especially gifts as well for that. And I've been continuing to be addicted to the new Beartooth album and remembering how good their 2018 record also was. More on that a little bit later. For now, let's talk about the reading. To start off with, I did, over the last fortnight, read The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Let me show this in a spot where you can actually see it. This went by a little bit slower than I was anticipating for it to, and it's probably one of my least favorite books I've read on the channel up to this point, that is for sure. But it's also one of those weird things where reading it, I could feel moments of anywhere from 1 to 4 stars, basically. I don't feel like I experienced anything in here that would be worthy of 5-star, but generally speaking, nearly any rating somebody could give this book, I could see where they're coming from, even though I nearly wholeheartedly disagree. If you want to know more about that, I'll be doing a review of this at some point. I'm not entirely sure when. I haven't recorded it or anything, nor would I have any clue when it will come out, but I did do a written review that was actually surprisingly in-depth for this on my Goodreads, or at least not really in-depth at all, actually, come to think. But what I did was I did a review. It's just like, I don't know how to feel about this. I'll talk about it more in depth when I do review it, and that's that. But then I did edit the review a few days later. It's just like, okay, I've thought about it a little bit more. I have a rating, and this is the basic reason why I gave the rating. But yeah, if you want to check out a little bit more of my thoughts on that, consider checking that review out. Next up, I did read The Only Good Indians, a book that I recommend you check out my review for, because that one is actually surprisingly in-depth. I went into a little bit more detail than I thought I would for the written review. I talked about it very briefly in a video last Thursday. It was my Stephen Graham Jones special. And I will be doing an individual review on this one as well, a la American Psycho last year, where I talked about that in my spooky season kind of reading wrap-up, but then also did a dedicated review for that. I'm going to do the same thing here. This was one that has a pretty mixed reception. There are people who absolutely abhor this thing's existence, and then there are people who actually really like it or don't really see what the problem is, and then there are people in the middle who are like, yeah, I see why people have problems, because I kind of have those problems, and then I don't see why they have such big problems. Like, they shouldn't be deal breakers that way. So I enjoyed this thing overall. There were some issues that I had with it, and you can check out the review to figure out what those issues were, but overall I actually rather enjoyed my experience with that book. Next up, I did take a day to read Mapping the Interior to make up for my DNF of Flesh Boy, to make up some more ground with Stephen Graham Jones, and because it was a short book, and a couple of my friends thought that I might like this a little bit better than some of his other material. Turns out this is my least favorite of the 3 of them that I finished, unfortunately. I did also go briefly into the reasons why for that in a written review on Goodreads, and I talked about it a little bit more in depth in the video that I just mentioned from last Thursday. This one won't have an individual review, neither will Night of the Mannequins on this channel. I mean, maybe someday they will, but I doubt it. But this one didn't fully click with me. And in case that wasn't enough reading for you over the last couple weeks, I have finally gotten back to finishing up Queen of Mid-Ashes, my reread of this. I was hoping to be done with this a long time ago, but reading the Stephen Graham Jones books and The Road took a little bit more time than I was anticipating, unfortunately. But with that being said, I'm nearly done with my Queen of Mid-Ashes reread. I will be finished today, though, by the end of today. In fact, I'll probably be finished by the time this video is done rendering, if I were to guess. And It's going a little bit better than it was the first time. It's probably, at least prior to, uh, after the first time that I read it, it was my least favorite thing in Sun Eater. Tales Volume 2 became my least favorite thing behind it. So generally speaking, this collection is probably my least favorite thing alongside Empire of Silence in the Sun Eater sequence, but still fantastic because Rockio is a genius, quite frankly. But yeah, I'm going to be working my way through the rest of Queen of Mid-Ashes today, and I'll be continuing on with some more of those rereads in November. And the reason that I have Flesh Boy sitting right back there is because I agreed with somebody that I would actually go ahead and finish it if they finished Demon in White right back there, because they hadn't gotten around to finishing it yet, even though they enjoy it and want to finish it. Come on, Allie, like, not pushing it off. It's really good. Like, just finish it. So, yeah, I agreed that I would do that. So I have it back there to remind me that I need to finish that when she's done. So, there's that. In terms of the bi-weekly writing, I did actually make some progress this time around. I got about 1,500 words added to the Silent Rain outlines. Let's see if I can find where the proper scene is and just kind of show you over here, because I can. I'm now at about 14,000 words total in Silent Rain as its individual piece. I did get a decent bit done with that over the last week, so I'm like quite a bit over the line of what the original goal was for that, but nothing too crazy more to announce there. I finished editing part 2 and part 3. I'm looking to do parts 4 and 5 this week. I doubt that I'll be able to get through quite that much this week, so I'm not going to be done with these outlines by the end of October. I would like to be, but I will 100% be done with them in November, and therefore able to move on to Halfway Hollow and the Lake of Ash over the next couple months. I'm going to try to be done with the revisions for these outlines, or for this trilogy of outlines by the end of the year. That is the goal. In addition to that writing, I did write a 4,000-word blog reviewing Beartooth's The Surface, the album that I just mentioned that I've been addicted to as of recently. It is a contender for Album of the Year for me, and I had a fantastic time writing that review, probably the most natural album review script I've written since the very first review that I did on Take Me Back to Eden by Sleep Token back in May. And good grief, that sounds very weird to be saying that that was that long ago. I don't like that idea. Either way, I'm very proud of that review, so I hope that everybody who's interested in it will check it out tomorrow. Speaking of the coming releases, let's talk about what's coming out on the main channel real quick. Nothing too real crazy to announce, except that on Tuesday the 31st, I'll have my review of The Dregs of Empire. I don't have an image of it or a book for it because, that doesn't release until the 7th. And I don't have my phone on me at the moment to show you the picture. But yeah, my review of The Dregs of Empire by Christopher Rockio, the newest Sun Eater novella, will be coming out on Tuesday. This Thursday, instead of doing my first Wheel of Time diary on The Shadow Rising, I won't have enough time to get, any reading done on that to be able to do a diary on, what is it going to be, like the 3rd of the month or something like that. So yeah, I won't have, or the 2nd of the month, actually. I won't have enough material quite for that. So on the 2nd, instead, it will be my October birthday book haul. Instead of taking up a Tuesday episode for that, I'm going to go ahead and make that the video for this Thursday. It was a big haul. It's, up there with my biggest hauls last year as well. I had like 2 really big hauls last year. I had, another big haul earlier this year, but that was because it was 3 months. My birthday book haul is going to be for 1 month. It's probably going to be my biggest haul of a single month, all things considered. Next week on the 7th of November will be my October reading wrap-up and November TBR video, so that will have quite a bit to discuss because I did get a lot of little things read in October, and I have a couple big plans for November that I do not think I'll be able to get done, but I'll be excited to talk about them nonetheless. And actually thinking about it, I don't even know what my book of the month is for this month yet, so I'm going to have to think about that before I record that later this week. And then next week, Thursday on the 9th, will be the first Wheel of Time diary on The Shadow Rising, starting that book. Where is it? Right up there. Yep. So Wheel of Time diary number 14. I'm rather excited to be getting back to that. It feels... October felt like a lot longer of a 1-month break in between books than any of the previous 1-month breaks have felt. But I think a lot of that is because I did finish The Dragon Reborn like halfway through September, so there was a couple extra weeks there to buffer. But that one I'm anticipating will take me about 2 months based off of different reading paces and just basic goals. I do not plan to have the whole book done by the end of November, so I'm allowing it to bleed into December. Therefore, I'm anticipating it will take the full 2 months. But, that's details that we don't really need to talk about. On the second channel, I did just mention tomorrow will be the day that the Beartooth The Surface review comes out. That will be titled Beartooth The Surface is Smilecore at its Absolute Finest. That will be coming out. And then, now that the Uncharted backlog for the Let's Plays, the 2020 backlog Let's Plays, is completed on this Friday the 3rd, and next Friday the 10th will be the first 2 episodes of the Little Nightmares backlog. So that will be pretty exciting. I should have tried to get those out in October, actually, instead of Uncharted, but it is fine. It doesn't really matter that much. And I also need to finish editing the Remnant Let's Play. I have that, and then the Remnant 2 co-op run now to get done, and I still have to actually do a Let's Play for Resident Evil 4 Remake, since I had people in my server, my Discord server, vote on that. Who knows when I'll get around to all that. I'm trying my absolute best here. It has been crazy times recently. As for entertainment talk, speaking of the gaming, as I just kind of got into there, I lied about having no more interest in gaming for the next couple weeks, but that's because I had forgotten that Spider-Man 2, the sequel to Insomniac Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, came out on the 19th. So I played 65% of it the first weekend, and I finished the 100% run of it just this weekend. In fact, I did that on Friday, right? Yeah, so I'm completely done with that game all in one fortnight. It was a decent bit shorter than I was expecting it to be, and a decent bit shorter than the first game, surprisingly enough. But now that I'm done with that, I do plan to back away from gaming for a little while, assuming there isn't any more big heavy hitter releases that I'm personally interested in playing immediately, which I don't think there are, so that's good. I do want to get the Silent Rain trilogy outlines all edited by the end of the year, so I'll really need to buckle down on that, and I still have some big reading plans, so wish me luck on all of that. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll be back on Tuesday, just as I mentioned with that Dregs of Empire review. I hope those of you who are into Sun Eater are excited for that, because I get to talk about that a week before it's released. Thank you to Anderida Books, to Rob from Anderida, for offering me the opportunity to proofread the Dregs of Empire and other stories. That is how I was able to read that early in order to have a review out early. And also thank you to Christopher for collaborating with me in terms of getting artwork and stuff so that I could still get that video out before the release. So that's been fun. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be back in the next video.